Today we're going to be practicing grounding together. Grounding is a practice that really supports us to cultivate a safe, connected, and present state within ourselves. And it's particularly powerful when you might be going through a lot of stress, when you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or maybe there's just a lot of uncertainty going on in your life. It's particularly beneficial for that. There's lots of different ways to ground. There's breathing techniques that support you to ground. There's meditation. There is walking barefoot on the earth. But today we're going to be practicing grounding by sitting. This practice is particularly powerful if we do it in nature, because the Earth's electrical currents can really impact and influence the body. But really, if that's not available to you, you can also practice this anywhere where there's a floor and space, and where you won't be disturbed by others. So what I'd like us to do before we start is to really check in with our bodies. So just take a minute to check in with how you're sitting, with what feels comfortable for you. Is there anything that you need to shift? Is there anything that you need to move in order to really settle into this space? So maybe you need to move your hips a little bit. Maybe you need to move your legs. If this position is not comfortable for you, find a position that is comfortable for you. So we're already starting to bring more presence into the practice by really taking this moment to check in. The other thing that I'd like to do before we start the practice is to really take a moment to go inwards and really just make a commitment to the practice, right? And really say to ourselves, I'm going to give myself a few minutes now to just be. I'm going to give myself that permission. Just really watching how that lands in your body. How does your body react to that? How do you feel about that? And now, before we start the practice, you can either check in with yourself to feel what's most comfortable for you in terms of closing your eyes, softening your gaze, or even keeping your eyes open if that feels better. So really just also, again, honoring what makes you feel most safe in your body. So I'd like us to start by taking a few deep breaths together. And really starting to notice the natural rhythm of our breath. Notice that when you inhale, there's an expansion in your body. There's a sense of welcoming life in. There's an opening. When you exhale, there's a release. There's a release of the toxins. And there's also a slight contraction. And as you continue to breathe, I really want to invite you to picture these two movements of letting in with the inhalation and letting go with the exhalation. And really tuning into that. As we continue, I'd like you to focus on the parts of your body that are touching the floor, that are touching the ground. Your buttocks, your legs, your feet. And really sensing into that contact between those two surfaces, that connection. And as you do, really sensing into being held and supported by the ground. Feeling into that safety that gives you. And going one step deeper, I really want you to sense into the force of gravity. Again, feeling into how gravity is supporting you and holding you right now. And as you do that, really tuning into your body and observing what's happening. Do you maybe feel a release? Do you feel a relaxation of your body as you really hone into that supportiveness? Is there any tension anywhere in your body that you're noticing? If there is, breathing into that space. Really taking a moment to be present with what is, welcoming what is, but from this feeling of safety and supportiveness coming from the ground. Now slowly I want to invite us to start to close this practice, placing our attention again on our breath, and really take a moment to give thanks to yourself for taking the time to do this practice, but also to give thanks to these elements that are supporting you. The ground, the force of gravity, your own commitment to this moment. Taking one last deep breath, I invite you to come back into this space, and I want you to, as you open your eyes or as you come back into this space, look at something around you that feels nurturing, that feels calming to your system. Really take a moment to take that in. And I hope you've enjoyed this practice. It's a very simple yet powerful practice that can really support us to feel the sense of safety and connection that we need in times of uncertainty, stress, anxiety. So I hope it will serve you well. Take care.